Welcome viewers. We are discussing the course Production Management, and under the Production Management the topic of today's discussion is on supply chain management. This particular topic is from your unit 13. I have tried to put the inputs only from your text, but in some cases I have also taken the help of my previous sessions where I have tried to explain more about the supply chain management. When we talk about the supply chain management, particularly anything which is managed so that you get the right material at right place in right quantity in right time, that is the supply chain management. And if you study this session, you will be able to define various types of supply chain processes. You will also able to understand what is meant by supply chain. What are the components of a supply chain? The most important model of supply chain is Stevens model that we will study, and what is the aim of the supply chain management. We have discussed about the ERP, that is the enterprise resource planning, business process reengineering, and supply chain management. All three terms are the buzzword in the previous 10 years, I will say. And all the three are related to each other in some way or in another way. So in this session, we will examine what is meant by the supply chain. If we define the supply chain, we will find the definitions are varying in the literature. The common theme is the flow of material, flow of information, and flow of finance. And supply chain management means we are coordinating the flow of material, we are coordinating the flow of information, and we are coordinating the flow of finance. Among whom? Among suppliers, among manufacturers, among distributors, and among the end customers. The example may be of about any product, they may be about any services. If we see the definition of a supply chain, the supply chain is the network of autonomous and semi-autonomous business entities which are involved through upstream and downstream linkages in the different processes and activities that produce value in the form of physical product and services in the hand of the ultimate customers. This is a generic supply chain. On the left side, if you just focus, you will find it is a supply. You have a supply of raw material, you have a supply of human resources, you have a supply of equipment, tools, and various type of services, just like electricity, just like water, just like any other lubrication. And then in between, we have a transportation, we have an inventory, and finally we have the customer. So the whole supply chain works between the upstream and the downstream supply chain. In the upstream, we have a supplier and manufacturer, while in downstream, we have a manufacturer, distributor, retailer, and customer. Now, what is meant by flow of order in a supply chain? As per the definition, supply chain consists of the network of organization that connects the supplier and the end user. End user may be the distributor and may be the end customer. It provides the route through which the raw material is converted into finished goods, services into the hand of the customer. If you just see or recall the picture which I have shown to you, managing the flow of goods from supplier through manufacturing and distribution to the end customer is nothing but supply chain management. Friends, when we talk about a supply chain, we must talk about the various flows. If you just see this picture will tell you the flow of processes between supplier and customer. There is a procurement, there is a manufacturing, then in factory there is a assembly or the final finishing, then distribution, and then your customers. The concept of supply chain is important as it provides a framework for the integration of information, material, and finance of the enterprise, that is right from suppliers to the customers. This is a cyclic view of the supply chain. If you just see this picture, you will find that the customer is entering into a retailer. So when the customer is coming, that is called the customer order recycle. In case of retailer, he or she has a responsibility to make each visit of a customer to its sale. Then manufacturing cycle, on the basis of replenishment order of the retailer and the distributor, manufacturer has to produce an item so that there should not be any stock out position. We will also go for the procurement cycle, which is between manufacturer and the supplier. You just see that at zero level, the customer arrives, one, customer triggers for the order, two, supplier fulfill the order, and the third, customer receives the order. Now there is two types of viewing the supply chain. One is your cyclic view, which we have discussed, and another way is your push and pull system. What instigates the movement of work in the system? There are two cases. First is your push system. The work release is based on the downstream demand. Just like we keep the inventory to meet the actual demand and acts proactively. That means making a generic or a job application resumes today. That means we estimate the demand or we predict the demand and we make the products as per the forecasting. The second type of system is known as the pull system, where the work release is based on the actual demand or the actual status of the downstream customer. It may cause long delivery lead time, but it acts reactively. That means making a specific resume for a company after talking to the recruiter. This will give you an exact picture about the push-pull view of the chain. On the left side in a red color you have a push system, and in another green color it is a pull system. If you want to define, we can define the push system as a system or the process. We estimate the demand on the basis of forecasting, we make the product and we put in the market and see how the market reacts to that. The simple example is the mobiles or any consumer products, just like soap, toothpaste. We see the demand, we put in the market, that's all. Another is a pull process, where the market drives the production. Market will decide the amount, variety of the system. The simple example is customized product. The customer going to the dealer demands for a specific color or specific device in the car. Now what will happen? The dealer will transfer this information to the manufacturer. On the basis of that demand from the particular segment of the customer, they will make only those amount of car or those number of car based on the number of customers. So this is called as a pull system. Now in today's atmosphere, the no process is completely a push system and no process is completely pull system. What we do, we make the items up to a certain stage on the basis of the customer demand on the forecasting, which is known as the push stage. And as per the actual demand, we customize or we generalize or we make it for the customer on the basis of the demand. So this point is also called as the push-pull boundary, or it is also called as decoupling point. There are several examples of supply chain. Just like the Dell computer and Compaq, Dell buys some components for a product from its supply. After that, the product is purchased by the customer. This is the extreme case of the pull system. Zara, Spain's answer to the Italy's Benetton. It sells apparel for a short design to sale cycle avoid to the market down. Toyota, General Motors, Volkswagen, they are all the examples of a ideal or the effective supply chain. Mac Mastercard, Graner, they are selling the auto parts. Amazon, then Barnes and Noble, Flipkart, Myntra, all they are coming as a good example of a good supply chain. There are some examples of the frozen food industry, internet shopping, Webvan and Peapod. They are the good examples of the supply chain, how they are working. Now, what is in the supply chain? In the supply chain, there is an element of coordination, that is the procurement, manufacturing, logistic, warehouse and the market. So there is a need of a coordination among the elements of procurement known as resource. There is a need for the coordination among the manufacturing known as manufacturing or make, logistic known as move, warehousing known as a store and market known as a sale point. The key points are: a supply chain produces value in the form of physical products and services in the hand of ultimate customer. A supply chain is a network of facilities and distribution option that procures the material from suppliers, transform these materials into products, and distribute these finished products to the customers. SCM, in short, or supply chain management, is the integrated process of managing these value chain activities. Supply chain system performs the transaction and manage the data required to complete all these activities. These are the process in the supply chain. The process include the procurement, transport, manufacturing, then again transport, storage, distribution. All these are the processes in a supply chain. The supply chain management encompasses management of all the elements and activities of the supply chain. This includes material suppliers, production facilities, distribution, services, and customers linked together via the feed-forward flow of information and the feedback flow of the material. Supply chain terms is being extended to international or global supply chain. This is common in industry which have global customer supplier base, for example, textile, pharmaceutical, automobile, electronic. The inclusion of distribution as a key link of supply chain makes its scope quite wide and extended. The distribution may incorporate many stages such as warehousing, carrying and forwarding agents, or third-party freight forwarders, wholesaler, retailer, and the service unit. We have already shown you the figure which gives you a generic nature or the generic picture of a supply chain. Multiplayer abstraction is evident in the figure which we are going to show you, since a supplier may still have its own chain as depicted by the dotted circle. You just see that supplier does not mean only one supplier or two supplier. Supplier may be first tier supplier, 2 tier, 3 tier. It is just like a branches of the trees. As we have a customer, then customer's customer, customer's customer. Similarly, we have a supplier. Supplier has its own chain. That is a generic nature of the structure of a supply chain. You will have a different types of supplier, you have a different type of a manufacturer, then assembler, distributor, carrying and forward agent, retailer. All these comes under the supply chain. This is a multi-layer abstraction of a supply chain, where you will find a separate chain of each supplier. Even in case of manufacture, there is a development chain of a product. Now, this will give you a types of flow, just like flow of information, flow of product, flow of funds, that is between the customer and the manufacturer. Now, we will ask you a simple question from the previous slides. What are the various components of a supply chain? Just like supplier, manufacturer, distributor, dealer, retailer, you can name them. Now, Stevens' model of supply chain integration. Stevens gives a simple model to understand the supply chain integration. It involves transforming the enterprise from a inward looking, that is the producing whatever the market wants it to itself, to an overall efficient manner. The transformation can be performed in effective manner through a series of phased steps. These steps involve the recognition of technological organization and attitude attributes, which we are going to show you. The integration of supply chain is a 4-stage process. Stage 1, baseline, understanding of material flow from purchasing to distribution. Stage 2, functional integration, understanding the function of material management, manufacturing management and distribution. Stage 3, internal integration of materials management, manufacturing management and distribution. Stage 4, external integration, that is integration of suppliers, internal supply chain and the customer. Here some important approaches for evolving the supply chain environment. There is an internal integration, that integrated system, ERP solution just like SAP R/3, linkage function such as purchasing, manufacturing, inventory, finance, then shared data and the integrated processes. Intra-firm integration, internal organizational information system such as extranet, links from system with external entities, supplier, distributor, retailer, then we have to share the data and the integrated processes. This is basically known as Stevens model for integration of supply chain. You have at the top baseline, then functional integration, internal integration and then finally external integration. Now, what are the aims of a supply chain management? Main aim of supply chain is to optimize the overall performance of the entire network of the supply chain. The word entire is very important here. With the experience in the enterprise research, we have realized that despite each factory, distribution center and the other elements of the supply chain operating at the best level, the supply chain as a whole may operate suboptimally. Let us examine this issue. Their operating decisions are based on these objectives. It is very common that the decisions of the constituent may not be aligned to the overall strategic goal of the entire supply chain. For example, the optimal strategy for the logistic may be bulk shipment, one-time order, selection of nearest vendor or the supplier. In many situations, when the entire performance is considered, these individual strategies fail to deliver the best. It is therefore an integrated, holistic view of supply chain is essential. In many situations, the management is forced to go for incurring more than the double cost in order to build the inventories to support some increase in the customer service. There are certain benefits which we visualize from the supply chain management. The first important is integrated view of enterprise resources and the constant. Second, improved channel efficiency by sharing information between suppliers and customers, reduce inventory levels and production cost, extension of organizational control beyond the firm's boundaries, ROI, return on investment, typically 10 times the cost of developing and implementing the system. There are certain supply chain risks also, just like poor implementation due to enlargement of scope. There is a risk of information sharing. There is also a problem in the assessment or the assessing of information. Then there may be supply chain interruption or disruption due to risk or due to some natural or man-made calamities. Unidirectional loss of bargaining power, training and the change management, system maintenance, challenge of developing trust and managing interorganizational dependency. If we talk about the aims of the supply chain is an integrated system. It is not like an integrated system as commonly seen in case of conventional enterprise. SCM is a focused at and directed towards the end supply to the customer. It is a domain of strategic decision making rather than operational decision in conventional enterprise. All the elements of the chain share a common platform and have common objective of overall reduction in the cost, increase in market share, and increase in the customer satisfaction. Supply chain negates the fragmented responsibility of each functional unit such as suppliers, manufacturing, purchasing, distribution. Friends, we are discussing the aims of a supply chain. As a matter of fact, the aim of supply chain is to optimally manage a inventory. Inventory will be managed if we manage our information. That is why it is said inventory is closely linked with the information. Integration of enterprise through networking and common information access facilities, prudent decisions regarding inventory management, logistic, purchasing, supply, and the customer service. Enterprise these days gets more involved in the operation and the policies of suppliers. That means they have a strategic relationship. There are certain other aims just like vendor auditing, open costing, vendor development training, online monitoring of scheduling, delivering of vendors, sharing technological capabilities, providing services of quality team to vendor suppliers are the few measures which may not be cost effective in short run, but in long run this union is bound to prove beneficial and the cost effective and reliable. Several suppliers to common unit may collaborate in logistic arrangement for delivering the benefits of economy of scale. Subcontracting among themselves may also be beneficial in many instances. However, all is effectively well and with mutual trust only when there exists a common enterprise-wide integration of information along the supply chain. Here the supplier is linked with the input from the end user regarding the specification, timing, and quality. Integration facilitates quick response time. Secondly, their interaction improves the cost reduction effect through the value engineering technique. Supplier input is upgraded through a better manufacturability of supply items, quick response time, and better preparedness. The era of multi-supplier enterprise network is gradually phasing out. The new paradigm is dependable, mutually developed type single sourcing or the strategic partnership. The potential benefit in a single sourcing are more evident when the integration, data sharing, technology transfer, and vendor development efforts are accounted. Visibility of full supply chain provides executive the ability to see the problems before they arise. Market is very competitive, global, therefore supply chain is expected to operate in a responsive manner, in a faster manner. Operative distance between each link, which is different from a physical distance, is shortening in most of the cases. This is due to increased influence of communication and simulation technology. Now you have to describe the aims of the supply chain. In this session, you have studied that the supply chain is a network of autonomous and the semi-autonomous business entities which are involved through upstream and downstream linkages in the different processes and activities that produce value in the form of physical products and services in the hands of the ultimate customers. In this session, you have also studied about the Stevens supply chain integration model and their different stages, just like baseline, internal supply chain, intra-supply chain, and the external supply chain. In this session, you have also understood the various aims of the supply chain. Thank you.